Hi everybody, thanks for watching another video. It's a Q&A video here today. I'm with Taryn, Ian and Eli. We're in the calf barn. Taryn didn't want to be close up on the video, she said, because she's not wearing makeup. It's our 6-year anniversary today, so if you want, you can wish us a happy anniversary. There was a few questions that I wanted to answer for you guys. A few of you had asked about, I had mentioned we were switching out some of our corn for earlier maturity corn because it was getting late in the spring, and you'd asked if that will yield as good and how long it takes for corn to grow, and if we could plant corn in July. And we've planted corn in July in the past, a small amount. It will grow about as tall as it normally would, but the cobs were significantly smaller when we did that in the past. Obviously, we'd like to get it planted in in the middle of May, before June really is would be the preferred. We've planted corn into the middle of June a few times and have had good yields, but we definitely will give up some yield going to an earlier maturing corn and planting it later in the season. Yeah, we'll just have to see how the year goes. It really depends on what kind of weather we have. That will really tell us what the yield is going to be for the corn, I guess. But yeah, an earlier maturing corn definitely will have a lower yield, but it's better than sticking to the late maturing corn and then having a frost come early, and then that will kill off the corn plant before it's mature, so that definitely wouldn't be what we wanted. The other question that one of you guys asked was about why we don't do no-till, or why we don't plant right into after the manure is applied. I think it was the question, maybe. And no-till is kind of difficult for us here, just because it typically is cold in the spring. A lot of times it can be wet, not as wet as this year, but usually we are wet in the spring. That can be a challenge for no-till. I'm definitely interested in doing less tillage, because it's really, if you don't have to do tillage, then we really wouldn't do it, I guess. Part of the other reason is we're required to incorporate our liquid manure. That's part of our nutrient management plan. So we incorporate the manure, and the field is too rough at that point to plant into. It needs to be leveled off to make a good seed bed. Tyson and Dan, they have what's called a Salford. That's more of a straight, wavy disc compared to what our disc is, and that disturbs the soil a lot less. I really like that for making a seed bed in the spring, because it doesn't till the soil up as much. But then they'd been doing our field work here the last couple of years, but this year, just because of the wet late spring, we ended up doing a lot of it ourselves, and they probably did half of it and we did half with our disc, and that that seemed to work okay. We'll see if we notice any difference between our disc versus their Salford, or if we can tell at any point in the year what was done with which piece of equipment, I guess. Be kind of interested to see that myself, but I'm sure that we're not gonna be able to see much difference, if any at all, but we'll have to wait and see. The other question, I had shown you guys that S740 skid steer. I think a few of you had commented that you'd like me to do a review on that and on our S76. The S740 is still in the shop. Hopefully, if it comes back here next week, I'll do a review of the S76 and maybe a first take or a first impression of the 740, I guess. Pretty similar to some of our older skid steers that we have already. It's the M series. But when that one comes back, I'll maybe do a review on both those skid steers as just a separate video for you guys. I think that'll be it for the questions on this last video here, anyways. At least the ones that I had put down in my phone, or the ones I remember. I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Oh, Ian's chasing Ramsey over there.